Hey, same old G, back in the train yard with another RPG Hobo video, and this is real true to the spirit of the Hobo-ness. Because this whole idea used to be about me jumping on topics that was not mine. So I was like, I was watching videos all the time, and then I was jumping on somebody's topic just like I jump on the train. Anyway, so now I'm jumping on RuneSlinger's latest video, Do or Do Not, something like that. And I gotta be honest, first when I listened to this video, I said to myself, nope, don't do it, don't jump on it. You know, it's not gonna do good. But this video is an important one because it expresses lots of important things about the RPG and one of the fundamental nature of this hobby, the way it's made. And I'm pretty sure RuneSlinger is not gonna take it personal. So I'm just gonna discuss the topic, not the RuneSlinger's event or RuneSlinger's emotion toward what happened in his group or whatever. Just about some stuff that is behind this. Something that I got from that video as a gut feeling was that there was a problem between the GM expectation and the player's expectation toward the game, kind of thing, and that problem was expressed in those out of character conversation going on and stuff like that. And it's not about the out of character thing. That's not about that. It's only about the fact that there was this moment that has been felt where, and I also got that from Hammered Shitsteak comment on that video, where you can, as a GM, you can almost feel that the players are trying to size what you want them to do, and now they are kind of like in between, where should I do this because I want to do it, or should I do X because I want to do X, or should I do Y because the GM wants me to do Y, but me, I want to do Z. So the most logical thing to do is X. What the GM wants me to do is Y, and I want to do Z, kind of thing. So this is what I want to talk about. And this is common behavior. I've been guilty of this many times. I've been a prick big time, and this is why I tend to go into indie RPG nowadays, because I can't stand that. I can't stand when you have a GM, even if he's supposedly doing sandbox stuff or responsive stuff or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes, if there is an encounter prepared, there must be a purpose, And if I'm thinking too hard, I'm gonna be distracted by the possible purpose of that encounter, and I can even go on the ethical level and think about, the hard work my GM have been doing with his prep and to create it. So I'm just gonna go with it, just to satisfy him and show him some love and respect because he's prepping the game for me as a player, and all these considerations that can emerge from gaming. So you become as a group stuck in this almost moral environment where obviously the GM prepared this. He probably wants us to do something about it. We don't give a shit. What do we do? Kind of thing. And me, I've been the worst player for this. I used to do on purpose, all kinds of stuff, against the GM's work, just to manifest my free will, just to manifest my agency. But I didn't know better. And then after a while, I got into GMing, and then I started to realize, oh God, man, this is just being a prick. I mean, and then I started to realize that one of the fundamental nature of this game is this common agreement, this kind of social contract where you just go with the, you need to accept that the GM is giving you shit, and you need to accept that you have to do those things, if you don't want to be a prick, or if you. So this whole topic is quite interesting, and I don't want to start to do an apology, not an apology, but a tribute to indie games or hippie games. A lot of people, I hear that all the time, like, oh, these are hippie games, like in a really pejorative way. But the whole idea about the hippiness of it is just that you get together as a group, not as a GM and a group. You get together as a group, and you really, really talk about what you want to do, and you want to blur the authority levels of GM group and stuff like that to a point where you might not even need a GM, like in Burning Wheel, or in a game like maybe like Feed, where the role of the GM is really, really blurry. So or into more radical like story games where like Human Contact, for example, where it's really, there's no GM. It's just you role played out scenes and stuff. It's totally different. It's not RPG. So staying in the RPG realm, this is an issue, and for some people, it's kind of childish to consider it as an issue. Just go with the flow, man. Just shut the fuck up. Just play the game and have fun, And I totally get that. I can totally relate to that, because it's kind of be picky. You kind of starting to see these layers of problematics. For grown men, it's like, hey, why don't you just go there and shut the fuck up and know your place, know your role, and just play the game, And I did it. It's possible to do it. You're gonna have fun still. It's not the end of the world. But what if you play a game? If you are this kind of people who get stuck into, and again, I'm not talking to Runeslinger here, I'm talking at large, I'm talking to me kind of thing. If you are this kind of guy who cannot deal with that, I mean, if you, as a GM, you expect something from the player because you prep something, why don't you play a game where you don't need to prep, Or why don't you? And if you are a player and you cannot tolerate that, or if you are a player and you see through the shroud all the time, so it's really hard to get into the game and get into the motion, because why don't you play a game that you don't have to? There is no shroud at all, just because the game is designed differently, So for me, I was like, God damn, man, those issues. I mean, you really don't need to. You really don't need. There's so many RPGs out there, and especially in the indie community, because the indie community, it's a bunch of people. They basically just a bunch. They're not the hippies at all. Nothing to do with that. They're just a bunch of people who were tired of these issues, and like, God damn, let's create games that negate those effects. The effect of having a guy around the table that has a veto on everything. That there's a guy around the table that preps stuff in advance, creating all these kinds of behaviors and layers of moral psychology and problematic around the gaming environment. Like, by nature, when you have a GM, and you have player under him, you know, when you have someone say my players, you know, my players, when you have this relationship, linguistic relationship to those people you play with, it create that, you know, it's just a matter of ethics, power structures and stuff like that, and it's not about being egomaniac, you know, it's not about being self-centered, it's not about railroad, it's just that fact, that human fact of you sit, you know, at the end of the table, you're the one organizing things, you're the one setting up the tone, you're the one talking the most, you're the one, you know, creating stuff for them to react and stuff like that. So it all automatically creates that. For some people, it's quite fun, and I gotta say, sometimes it is. You know, actually, I'm craving that nowadays. I'm gonna try D&D soon. So the new D&D soon. So it's quite okay. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or whatever. You know, it's obvious. I don't talk in those terms, but for me, like it's always surprised me. Like, you know, it's hard because the thing is that if you don't know better, you can see it. You cannot see it. If you haven't tried those games that destroy those effects, you don't believe in them. It's like you don't see it. So it's just a bunch of VP games, and I can do the same with my games, you know. But it's not true. It's not true. You cannot have real and true collaboration. I don't believe in it. I don't believe. You know, if the design doesn't allow it, and all these games that that are not that cannot support it are gonna have those effects. The effect that Runeslinger discussed in his video, those effect of, you know, should I do what the GMs want me to do? Should I do what I want to do? Or should I do what is the best to do? You know, when you have a game that is structured in a way that you don't need to ask those questions. Those questions doesn't even arise. You that's personally, that's what I like. That's the perfect kind of gaming environment I want for my role playing, because all you have is true collaboration. You don't care about what the others say. You just accept everything all the time because it's part of the game, you know. And it's and then this is why it's fun, instead of okay, I see where he wants me to go now. I don't want to go there. What should I do? Fuck, and then, you know. Anyway, so just I want to know what you guys think about this. I don't mean of having like a 25 video response and create a chain of events, but what do you think about those issues? You know, that moral environment that comes into the form of those power structures that are embedded in the role-playing games that has GM versus, not versus player, but GM player dichotomy into them, and all those questions I've been discussing here, and that you can hear in the Runeslinger's video. Have you ever encountered? If you feel like that, you know, if you know exactly what I'm talking about, what do you do about it? Are you a prick like I used to be, just because you need it to express yourself? Are you submissive to the GM, and you just, what do you do? What is it that you how do you deal with those issues? Thank you for watching.